Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Josie podcast. I'm Josie, your leadership and mindset coach and host of the show. And today I'm joined by Amie, who's an independent consultant and district manager with Arbonne. So we will 100% dive into the network marketing business world today. But I have to say, what I loved first thing when I stumbled upon your profile, Amie, was literally your caption from pissed off to passionate. I just loved it and it stuck with me. So I'm dying to know what that's all about. So, and first of all, Amie, I'm so stoked to have you here and huge welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is really exciting. I just love being able to like meet new people, connect, chat, all things business, life, everything. It's really exciting.
Same. I'm like literally dying to talk to you. So let's dive literally straight in.
Okay.
What is your journey that got you to where you are today?
Oh, my God. So really, if you want to talk like business and what really inspired me to kind of, I suppose, enter the world of being my own boss at some point was having a child. Almost 16 years ago now. She is 16 in May. It's crazy, like blows my mind. I often look at her and I'm like, where the hell did you come from? Like, how are you 16? It freaks me out. When she was a toddler, I wanted to be with my daughter, really. You know, I didn't want to have to go back to work. At the time, I was working in management in Selfridges. So I was in retail at the time. And it was long hours. It was all holidays. Like I was just never able to be there with my daughter. And this is like such a like really random part of my story. But at the time, I was like trying to earn some extra money as I was on mat leave. I was at home, And it was just at a time when eBay became big and you could make really good money on eBay. So I just started selling like bits of my stuff, selling Millie's stuff. And that weirdly, naturally, organically turned into me ending up with a vintage business.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't even know really like how it worked, but that was essentially my first business. So I would buy clothes, I would sell them on eBay, but I would also like travel around to all the different vintage fairs. This is kind of at a point where social media wasn't really massive. I don't even think Instagram wasn't even a thing, right? Like 13 years ago. No, so there's no Instagram. There was like Facebook, but it was so different. So we did a lot of like traveling around, but I did use social media to start growing my vintage business. I would host my own events and I just like threw myself into it. At this point, I'm like 23, 24, maybe 24. Millie's really little. And that naturally evolved into lots of different things. So I've run various different businesses over the last 12 to 13 years. In the middle of it, found myself being a single parent, which was by far the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my entire life. And running a business when you don't have a secure income and being a single parent, the two just didn't go together at the time. So I found myself like going back into work, going back into part-time work. I was trying to get stability. I was in survival mode. Like I'm going to be completely honest, it was survival mode for that period of time when me and Millie was on our own. And there was moments, you know, where it was I had to choose between heating and eating. That was the honest truth of it. And eating comes first, right?
Yeah.
So I had to make those decisions. And I spent like the last 13 years of being like, knowing deep in my heart that I was meant for something more, that the traditional 9 to 5 doesn't serve me or suit me. Also, I believe I've been put here to serve and help others. I'm here for a reason. And no job was ever satisfying enough, never challenged me enough. It wasn't motivating enough. My businesses would work for a period of time, but it was all like stop, start. It was nothing quite flowed. And then last June, Arbonne came into my life in the weirdest way. And I actually asked somebody about the business opportunity. I didn't get approached about it. I saw somebody sharing the green drink and I was like, what is drink? I want to try the green drink. I messaged somebody and this voice inside my head said to me, you need to ask about the business opportunity. And I was like, what? listening to this voice, because first of all, I'd never heard of Arbor. I
Mhm.
didn't know it was a network marketing company. I am aware of network marketing. My mum had done network marketing when I was a child, but I didn't really know anything about it. So I was like, okay. So I just like really followed this inner guidance, messaged the same person and said, "What's the business opportunity?" And she was like, "Oh, okay. Well, like it's this, it's this, it's this." And the voice said to me, "You need to sign up to this." And I was
Love it.
okay. So the day that I heard the word Arbor is the day that I bought the product. So I'd bought the green drink and the day that I became a consultant.
Damn.
All
Like,
I'm
you
saying,
went all in one go.
yeah, all in, all in. And it was, all I can say is that it was a pure um heart pull. Like I felt my body being like pulled towards the decision. I know we spoke about going off on a tangent, but I don't know if you know anything about
Go
human
off. Go.
design.
Yeah.
So I'm a manifesting generator, which means I have to operate from my gut instincts. Like every decision has to be made with my heart, with my gut, and I feel it. Like it's like a physical pull. It's
Mhm.
like a hook in my stomach, and it like pulls me forwards. So I just said yes. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, and that's what I did.
That's so exciting. And oh gosh, there's so much I want to dive into. But the first thing, obviously, because it's just on my mind, like with the human design. So I'm a manifester and
Okay.
I swear by intuition, like literally. And as you described, like how it feels for you, like with the forward pull,
Mm,
it's not in my stomach, but I have it in my chest. And it's literally also like a forward pull. So I'm always like, how does that feel? Like, which
yeah.
direction should I lean into?
Yeah.
And but as soon as you like follow this pull, it's just like so crystal clear. It's if like the curtain just drops, you're like, gosh, yeah, I was just meant to do this.
Yeah. And I find that so powerful because so many of us are taught to make decisions with our head, with logic. We
Mm.
think we can think our way into a situation or out of a situation, and you can't. Everything has to be made. I'm not saying that logic doesn't play a point, because of course it does, but when you really make a decision with your heart and you're like, this just feels like, I just know that I have to do this, or I have to say yes, or I have to say no. It works both ways. And you feel it
Yes,
with a pull, it's completely different.
it really is. And also like you can feel out what is not meant for you. And for
Mm,
me, that always feels like a restriction. Like it's always like cramping up. It's like, "Ugh." Yeah, as
yeah,
if you get like stuck for a second. You're like, oh, okay, let's not go there. Let's go where it feels like easy and where you really feel like aligned with your values, your goals. And it's so hard to describe, but it just feels right, doesn't it?
100%, 100%. And I would agree with that. And I firmly believe that the previous businesses that I was running, it wasn't that there's anything wrong with traditional businesses.
Hmm.
It's just that that's not where I was meant to settle. It wasn't meant to work out for me because I was meant to go in a different direction. And it felt restrictive. It
Hmm.
felt sticky, like mud, like I couldn't, and I always felt really drained.
Yeah.
I always felt really drained, and and it's something that I've learned to understand about myself and my energy is there's two things that I can do that just I get lost in. So like when I'm in my business, I absolutely love it. I feel energetic. I could do it for
Hmm.
hours. And when I'm doing pole fitness, again, I'm just like, I'm in it. I don't really think about anything else. But in previous businesses, it felt tiring to be in it. Like,
Hmm.
doing this, something just didn't feel right. And when you start making decisions from that place, it's a complete game changer.
It really is. I love that so much for you. How would you say, like, after you made the decision, did you still sometimes have those moments where maybe doubt crept in and where you were like, oh, did I really like make the right decision? Like, what is going on now? Like, how did you feel after?
So as soon as the little thing popped up on my screen that said, congratulations, Amy, you
Yeah.
are now an independent consultant, I went, oh, fuck, what have I done? I was
Oops.
like, oh my God. I was like, I
Mm.
don't have the time for this. I don't have the money for this. I was like, what have I done? What am I doing? What have I done? What have I done? And then it was like pure, then the logic, the brain kicked in to try
Mhm.
and talk me out of it. Like,
Mhm.
what have you done? What if these products don't work? What if this is a pyramid scheme? What if, like all of that came in,
Mm.
all the doubts, all the fears. For 3 weeks, I was convinced I'd just joined a cult. I was like, "What the hell is this?" Like, everybody's really happy, everybody's vibrant, everyone looks
Mhm.
good, their skin is good. I was like, "What have I gotten myself into?" Because obviously we had, like, group chats and
Yeah.
all this, and everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Morning, morning, morning," like, lovely and happy and supportive
Mhm.
and encouraging, and there was, like, all this free training, like, training that you would pay thousands of pounds for
Mhm.
to start a business, and I was like, "What the hell have I joined up to? What have I said yes to?" And 3 weeks later, so, like, for 3 weeks, I was pretty much, like, very standoffish to it all. I was
Mhm.
like, "Okay."
Skeptical.
I was skeptical.
Yeah.
I got my drink and I was like, "Right, I'm just gonna start taking my green drink and see what happens." But I was very skeptical, and I remember just feeling like I was gonna stay on the outskirts and just see, like, what was going on. And then I went to an event. There was an Arbonne Wellness Day in Birmingham, which is, if you can't tell by my accent, where I live, near where I live. And I went to this event and I walked into this beautiful room with
Mhm.
all the like all the different products laid out, and you could try the products. So there was like protein there was protein balls, there was the skincare, and there was about 200 people in there, maybe more than that. And I was like, oh, I was like, it's a legitimate business. I was like,
Mhm.
the real thing. Like, they've got these incredible products, they've got this incredible infrastructure. They've been going since 1980.
It's a long time.
It's a really long time. And there was
Mhm.
all this information there about the business on like banners and stuff. And it was just an incredible atmosphere to walk into. And I heard two people that had been in the business for one person that had been in the business for about 12 years. So she was in the top 1% of the company. And
Wow.
then somebody that was in the top, no, I think she was in the top 1% as well. And she was also a coach and stuff like this as well. And I heard them both speak, and I just had this like chills go all over my body. And I was like, this is going to change my life. This is what I've been looking for 12 years, 13 years. Like, I just, again, had this deep
Mhm.
knowing this is where I'm meant to be. And on that day, so I went by myself, but met a couple of people that were in like my direct team, and then a couple of people that weren't. I just felt like I was at home. Yeah, so it was just an incredible experience.
It really sounds like it, and I love that so much for you, especially like this coming home feeling. As soon as you
Mm.
find literally your purpose, right? You're just like, one, as we said, you're meant for this, and you just have to go for it. And it's just so crystal clear, and you have just a sense of direction where you're
Yeah.
like, cool, I know what to do now, and it feels good. And how would you also say maybe the dream of building like financial freedom and time freedom was kind of like maybe influencing your decision as well in this? Because obviously it is a business where you can organize according to your own times, right? So you show up when you show up.
Yeah, 100%. So the thing that has driven me for the last 12, 13 years is time freedom,
Mhm.
financial freedom. And I've never found it in a traditional business, and I've never found it in a job. I don't care how much money you get paid in a job, you'll never have time freedom.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
You'll,
I agree
and you,
so hard.
no, and you'll never have financial freedom either, because essentially that company owns you. So that's always been a huge driving force for me. Is like, I want to own my own time, work from wherever I want to work. So, or basically, all I would need is Wi-Fi connection, travel, and just have choices and be able to say, like, to my husband or to my daughter, like, right, we're going away this weekend, or we're going to do this. It's always been the biggest driving factor for me.
Mhm.
And when I went to that event, what happened is I saw what was possible, because I was meeting people. It wasn't just two people that were there that had built this time freedom and financial freedom. There was a lot of people in that room that had been in the business. Some of them had been in there for, 12 years. Other people had been there for 4 years. Other people had been there for a couple of years. And I was like, oh, like, this is actually like a legitimate very clever business model where you can build time freedom, financial freedom, and you can scale your business. Like, it's unlimited,
Mhm.
uncapped. Your ability to earn whatever you want is available to you. Um, I at the beginning worked, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like ignorance on fire. I was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do. I was just
Everything.
working. I was just trying everything. Like, I just threw it all at the wall and just see what was gonna stick. And I worked to the top 35% of the company, so I became a district manager within a couple of months. I had no clue what I was doing. No, like, absolutely no clue. And I remember everybody in the team being like, Amie, this is amazing. You're insane. This is crazy. And I was like, oh, is it? Okay. And everyone was like, you're going to be a district manager. You're going to be a district manager. And I was like, okay. So I just kept going, and I didn't really
Mhm.
know like what I was doing, but I just saw what was possible. I caught the vision really early on, and I wasn't afraid to put myself in the arena of, I believe in this. I believe in the
Mhm.
products. I've seen what's possible. Okay, I'm not 100% proof of,
Mhm.
these six-figure lifestyles and the cars and the travels and all of this just yet, but I've seen other people do it. So if they can do it, I can do it. And that's literally what I said to myself on that day that I was in Birmingham. I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's stuck with me ever since.
I love that. And it's so powerful and it's so true. Like
Mm.
the other day, I actually heard someone say that they don't believe in, oh, if you can do it, I can do it too, because we're not the same person. But I'm like, yeah, you're not the same person, but still, you seeing that other person building
Mm.
the business, creating this amazing life is proof. It still is
Mm.
proof that you can do it too. Like, why shouldn't it be? Why shouldn't you see it as that proof that it is possible for you and take it as like this motivation and driver to change your life as well?
You might not be the same person, but you can always become a better version of yourself in
Yes.
order to get there. Like, the people that I have met that have worked this business and that are in the top 1%, I'm not that person. I'm not the same as them, because they've gone through a process to become a person that is earning six figures a year or five figures a month. Like, they've evolved.
Mhm.
That stands the same for anyone, whether you're in the business of coaching or creating your own products and selling your own products online. In order to get to a level that you want to be at, you have to become a new version of yourself. To do something that you've never done before, you have to become someone that you've never been before. So, yeah, I'm not the same as them right now, but that doesn't mean that I can't be. It doesn't mean that I won't become the same as them. All it takes is that belief of being like, "No, I'm going to do it." That's literally all it takes, is like,
Yes.
"This is the life that I know I'm meant to live. I'm going for it," and that's that.
Exactly. It's really having like almost deluded, obviously, like vision to just go for it and really believe in yourself, build the self trust and take the action, go in like the discomfort zone. I mean, you said like this is your first time on a podcast, but you're doing brilliant.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, but it takes these kind of actions, right, to get to
Yeah,
this new level, to do something you've never done before. Because if you want to change into something that you not are, that, how do you say it? That you are not right now. Yes, that's the right way.
yeah,
You have to do something that you
yeah.
haven't done.
Exactly. It's the same as if you go to the gym and you're like, okay, so I want to, lose weight, tone
Mm,
up, get healthy, get fit. So I want to be able to run a marathon. The first day that you step into that gym, you're not a marathon runner. You're not that person, but you'll go through the process and the steps and the exercises, the healthy eating regime. You'll go through all of
mhm.
those steps in order to become somebody that can run a marathon. It's exactly the same in business. Exactly the
Exactly.
same.
I love that metaphor because I experience that every day in the gym. Like every time I like learn a new exercise, I'm like, oh wow, this really hits my shoulders. Oh wow, this is really like, good for the hamstrings. But it takes like figuring out like these new steps, these new exercises, these new
Yeah.
actions that you can take in order to grow something in a different way that you couldn't
Yeah.
grow before. Love that.
Completely, completely, yeah.
Mm. Talking about best self and like also learning, what do you feel like motherhood has taught you
Oh,
across the years, like about your business, about yourself? And I'm also super curious because obviously, like, you are really a role model. So I'm curious about what kind of role model do you want to be for your daughter as well in all of this?
Oh, the role model, I'll just mention that bit first because
Mhm,
that is another huge driving force for me. Having a daughter, um, I want her to grow up having that full belief that she is capable and possible of doing whatever the hell she wants with her life. Like, she doesn't have to get a job and go and work 9 to 5. She doesn't have to get married if she doesn't want to. She doesn't have to have kids if she doesn't want to. Like, I advise not. It's hard work. And I say that to her all the time. I've wanted to pour belief into her that she's capable of um, doing whatever she wants to do. Perfectly honest, I would rather Millie find the thing that she feels passionate about
mhm,
that inspires her and motivates her to wake up every day and be like, yes, I love my life. I'm so excited for it. And that's what I've always wanted to do is that I've worked on myself, personal development. I've done a lot of personal development. You know, I have, you know, I meditate, I do yoga, I do journaling, and she's grown up seeing me do that. Okay, she's a teenager. She doesn't do that kind of stuff at the moment, but it's something that as she grows, she's going to remember that I did that. And that's something that I'm really passionate about because I want her to know that she's got choices
mhm,
as she grows up. Um, and what it's taught me, wow. Millie was my driving force to find the thing that I'm passionate about in the first place. So if there was no Millie, I wouldn't be sitting here doing all this now. I wouldn't have gone
mm,
through all of the things that I've gone through. And it's taught me perseverance, determination, and also to really show myself grace and self-love and to pour into my own cup first. From Millie being a very young age, I spoke to her about my boundaries.
mhm,
So obviously, when your kids are little, they just like, Mom, mommy, 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 mommy,
mhm.
like
They
all
go
the
to the
time.
toilet with you, they do everything.
Yeah, all the time. Like, you just don't get a minute's peace. So when she was about 4, 3, 4, I started doing this thing where I was like, this is half an hour of my time. And every time she interrupted me, that half an hour would start again. So
Oh.
she got a lesson in that's mummy's time and that's her time. And I would encourage her to, maybe I was reading a book or, you know, maybe I was doing yoga or something. I'd encourage her to join me.
Mhm,
So like she'd get a little book out or she'd get some toys on the floor or she'd do yoga with me. But every time she interrupted that me time, that half an hour would start again. And she's now, you know, sort of grown up. She's very independent. She's very comfortable by herself and like happy in her own company, which is another thing that I really wanted her to be okay with because as women, I think without like kind of going into that whole thing, but we're kind
mhm.
of taught that we need somebody in our life. And I don't want her to think that. So that, and there's so many other things that parents, like being a parent teaches you, you know, commitment,
Mm,
determination, your ability to like not give up. Because when you're trying to teach your child something, and it could be something really small, you know, even like potty training, like the
mhm.
commitment to go through potty training, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes months and months and months and months and months. But you don't stop, do you? Because
Exactly,
you've
they need to learn it.
you've got to go through it. It's taught me a lot about you know, having that determination to keep going. And also my why of why I want to keep doing the things that I'm doing, why I'm changing my life. It's not just for me, it's for Millie, it's for my husband, it's for our entire lives. And for Millie to see that there's so much more
Mhm.
to, you know, going to school, going to uni, getting a 9 to 5.
That's amazing. You really, like, are teaching her to go her own path in all of this, to
Mm,
find her authentic way in all of it. And you're also normalizing setting boundaries. You're normalizing looking after yourself. You're normalizing doing the meditation, yoga, whatever it is that helps you to be at your best. So you can also be the best mom, to be the best business
100%.
owner, to be the
Yeah.
best partner.
100%. Like my morning routine, it's a non-negotiable.
Mhm, same.
and it happens, it happens, you know, and both Millie and my husband know
Mhm.
that's what I do in the morning. And it makes me be able to show up in a, you know, I'm happier, I'm brighter, I'm ready for the day. I encourage Millie to get involved with me. I encourage her to have her own morning routine. I'm sure as she gets older, that is a habit that she'll develop because
Mhm.
she's been exposed to it pretty much her entire life. But all of those things mean that I can show up better. So they happen first. And even when she was little, I did this. So there's going to be people being like, oh, yeah, well, she's a teenager now. I had a morning routine before my daughter was born. So
Mm.
I've carried that on with whilst her being a baby, her being a toddler, her going to school, all of that. She's grown up seeing me being like, mom does yoga, mom does meditation, mom has journaling time. It's normal.
It is. And that's why I always say, like, mothers are literally born leaders
Mhm.
because in any second of the day when they're like with their kids, you're always a leader. You're always leading by example. You're always walking the talk, and
Yeah.
they will take that on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. That's such a good point. Yeah. I like that.
Mm. What would you say are your three top tips? I mean, we already talked like boundaries and self care and everything, but do you have like any other hot tips around turning from pissed off to passionate?
For me, it was not be don't be afraid to try the different things that come across your path.
Mm.
Because if I hadn't have started a vintage business and I've also had a personal styling business, I've also had a social media management business. If I hadn't have tried these things, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't have found the thing that has brought me so much purpose in my life. Um, it wasn't easy along the way, but not being afraid to go, okay, I'm going to try this now. Okay, I'm going to try this. Okay, I'm going to try this has led me to finding my thing. So I think that's so, and we're so afraid of what other people are going to say, like, oh, I
Mm.
can't do this because they might, what are they going to think? Oh, I'm doing something new now, or I can't show up now sharing that on my social media because they're going to be like, what's she up to? So what?
Who cares?
So yeah, who cares? So what? And that's probably another tip as well.
Mhm.
Remove this bullshit around caring what people think about you because, in all honesty, nobody cares. Most people are spending more time thinking about themselves and if other people are thinking badly about them.
Mhm.
We're
It's so
not
true.
really paying, like, we're paying attention to people, but when, because I always think, like, do I go online and go, oh, what's she posting about now? Oh, what's she doing? I don't
No
do
one
that.
no one does it. No one.
No. And if I don't do it, then other people aren't going to do it to me. So that'd be another tip of mine is like, just don't care what other people think. The older I've got and the more I've embraced my bucket list is me. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to stay in my world. If you do like it, great, let's be friends.
Mhm.
And the more I've adopted that attitude, the more I found my purpose, the more joy I found in my life, the more real connections and friendships I've found in my life. And that's come from just letting go of like, okay, I'm just not going to worry about this. Or I'm not going to worry about that person. I'm not going to worry about being myself or saying this. The more you step into that and embrace it, I do feel like that's when your life really starts to become more in flow and the right things start coming into your life as well.
100%. I mean, when I would think about like back about all of the things I was worried about what others might say or whatever, like in terms of starting a blog, starting Instagram, starting coaching, changing my career, getting out of my relationship. If I would have listened to these thoughts, because they're not actually like real things, like no one has said anything to me.
Right.
It was just all in my head. If I would have listened to that, I wouldn't be here today. I'd
Exactly.
probably be like somewhere in therapy because I'm still like super burnt out and still working my 9 to 5 and would be miserable as fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah. But not
Exactly.
listening to that not only like sets you free and helps you making the right decisions for you, it's also it just feels so much nicer. Like honestly, you're just being
Yeah.
like true to yourself. And as you say, like really no one actually cares because we are all so focused on ourselves anyway.
Yeah. It's so freeing to step
Mm.
into that more and more. And I do feel like for women, we're kind of taught, to be, I think from a young age, and I don't really know like where it comes from, but it's like we're taught to be in competition with each other,
Mm.
and we're not. We are, I'm so passionate about empowering women to just be able to go like claim what they want and stand in that power and be their best selves,
Mm.
show up as their best selves, have that confidence inside and outside. And when you come at that space, like we're all about that, really. That's what we're all about. That's what we all really want for each other. So why would you be going online being like, oh, what's she doing now? We just don't do that. We're more interested in number one, ourselves.
Mhm.
That's just human nature. And number two, inspiring and helping and supporting other women. Like that's really what we're about. And I don't really know where it comes from when we're young, but I, I, I just don't. I think the older you get, the less you just like worry about that. You just kind of drop it and
Mhm.
think, well, I'm just going to be myself. I'm showing up as me, and all the right people then start to come into your life.
Yes, 100%. It's actually one of like one part of my mission is to
Mm,
empower women because I so strongly believe that when women are at their best, this world will be at its best.
100%. Yeah, I agree. I completely
Mm.
agree. I mean, I'm wearing a necklace that says feminist, like so.
I actually was wondering today, like, what actually does her necklace
It
say?
says
Now
feminist,
I
yeah.
know.
And it to me, it's just all about women being able to be like claim what it is that they want. Because I just
Yes.
feel that so many of us don't. We play so
Mm.
small. Oh well, I'll just have like this little job and I'll just look
Mhm.
after my kids and I'm just going to be a mom and or I'll just have this little side business that's maybe earning a little bit of money. No, do you want six figures? Do you want to be a millionaire? Like, what lifestyle do you really want to live?
Mhm.
Decide it, claim it, and then go for it like your hair is on fire.
Yes, exactly. Like it's really like dare to dream big and go
Yeah,
for it because you can absolutely make it happen. If you can build a side hustle, you can build $1 million business.
100%. I completely agree. We can be, do, or have whatever we want.
Yes.
And I just feel like as women, we've not really ever been taught that or taught how to go for it.
Mm.
And I'm really grateful that personal development. My mom was a life coach. So when I was about 16, my mom was
Amazing.
a life coach. So I was exposed to personal development at a really young age. That doesn't mean that like, oh, I've got my shit together. Like you don't. It just means that I was open to personal development, to lots of different ways
Mhm.
of working on myself, working on my energy, and also saying yes to lots of different opportunities that came my way.
That's great. And again, this is like another example, right? Of if you lead by that example and if you're exposed to this world,
Mhm.
then you really learn to be open to it and take it on.
Yeah,
And then
completely.
you do your own greatness with it. And now
Completely.
you are influencing, obviously, your daughter in a
Yeah.
similar way. That's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
I love that so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy, for sharing all of this. Um, maybe actually you need to come back because there are like so many other questions. I'm like, oh gosh, I
Ah,
would
I
love
love
to ask you
that.
that as well.
It's been really good. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, yay, I'm glad. But we have one last segment of the show if you're ready
Okay.
for it. So it will be like a tiny fire round of questions.
Okay.
Before we dive in, please tell me a number between 1 to 10.
7.
Okay, 7 questions for you it is.
I should have said 3.
No, no, no. You do great. Okay. So first question would be, what is the Amy way of living and leading your best life?
Being your like true 100% authentic self. Don't worry
Love
about what other people think of you. Just be yourself.
love that. Sign me up. When shit hits the fan, what do you tell yourself to get through it?
After I've had a meltdown,
It's important though. You got to express it, right?
yeah, and
Acknowledge
it
it.
happens, right?
Yeah.
I I know that what I am working for is meant for me. I know it's meant for me. I feel it. So I won't ever be able to step away from it or give up on it because I know that I know I'm meant to be doing it. that's what keeps me going. Like, I know it's meant for me.
It's a certainty.
Yes, it's the difference
Mm,
between like belief and then certainty.
I love that. What is your key habit for success?
Habit for success. Don't give up. Don't give up. Like,
Mm.
am I currently where I want to be in my business? No, not right now. Have I had success? Yes. But for me, it's like, I know that there's more.
Mhm.
There's always going to be another level, right? So if I got to the level that I've got to and gone, oh, that's okay, I'm just going to chill out here, I'm not going to get to where I want to be. So it's don't keep going, don't give up.
That's where you have like your post-it notes, right? With the milestones. Did I see that right in your reels? Where you like
Yeah,
took
so
them off when you reached it. Yeah.
yeah, it's actually there on the wall.
I love that.
Yeah,
Top tip.
yeah, exactly.
What is your favorite book that you would recommend to everyone?
Oh, my favorite book. I can't remember. I think I've got it up here actually. Yes, it's called The Slight Edge. Let me grab it because it's
Ooh.
here.
Yes, yes, I want to see.
It is a network marketing book. So I read it
Mhm.
July. However, you can apply this to any business, any goal, anything in life. It's called The Slight Edge.
Mhm.
Jeff Olson. And it's basically about how taking small actions every single day leads to massive changes in your life. So you can relate this to like, look, he talks about health, he talks about fitness, he talks about business, he talks about network marketing. I'm actually like really want to read it again because I mean, like, there's so
Mhm.
many things that I've highlighted and like pages like folded down. But it was such a good book. And I firmly believe that part of the success that I've had in my network marketing business is because I read this, because
Yeah,
it talks about taking those small actions and being consistent and not giving up. And like, what might happen? What might happen if you just take small actions every single day? Where will you be in 12 months' time if you don't give up?
exactly.
Is
That's
it
1%
game changer?
Mhm. I love that so much. And it's literally like a mantra I have for myself as well. I got it actually from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yeah, that's actually on my reading list. That is.
Highly recommend. Highly
Okay.
recommend. I've read it, I think now 2 or 3 times now, so
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
it's
interesting.
it's a
Okay.
good one. Okay, 2 more questions. No, 3 more questions. What is the theme song of your life?
um, it totally depends on my mood,
Mhm.
but one of the songs that has fueled me and given me fire is Fight Song, Rachel Platten.
Ooh. Mhm.
It's very which you, if you knew me and the type of music that I listen to, you'd be like, okay. But because it's very kind of like poppy, but
Mhm.
it's just such a good song. And I remember I had this awful 9 to 5 job, and I used to get out on my lunch break and go for this little walk, and I just used to have this song on, being like, and again, it was like, I'm not giving up. I can't give up.
Mhm.
And even at that time, I wasn't even running a business, but I know I wasn't meant to be in a 9 to 5. So even at that point, I felt, I suppose, the void. Like, I didn't know what I was
Mhm.
meant to be doing with my life. But I just used to listen to this song all the time, and I still do now. Like, I'll put it on in the morning, and it's like my let's go kind of song.
Ah,
Yeah.
I love that. I need to listen to it after this.
I'll send you the link.
Yes, please. Yes, please. What is your main takeaway from today?
From today, well, the first thing is, what speaking about my story, even everything that I've been through, and
Mhm.
the starting the businesses and not really getting anywhere, I've really kind of realized like how determined I am and how sure I am that I am meant to be. I know that I'm meant to do something incredibly big with my life and support other people to do something big with their lives. I've known it for a really long time, but I feel like when you actually sit down and have a conversation with somebody and you've asked me the questions that you've asked me, it's made me go,
Mm.
okay, I do know what I'm doing with my life. I
Yeah.
am on the right path. I am doing the right things. Because we do doubt ourselves, right? We have those
Mhm.
days where we're like, what am I doing? Like, would it not just be easier if I didn't know all of this and I just had a 9 to 5 and
Mhm.
but you can't unlearn what you can't like unknow what you know. Once you've gone, it's like going down a rabbit hole, isn't it?
Mhm.
Like the rabbit hole in Cinderella.
Yeah.
Not Cinderella. Oh,
Alice in Wonderland.
yeah, Alice in Wonderland. When
Yeah.
you go down that and it's like you can't go back. Like once you've started to learn all this stuff and get into this world and you meet other people and you're seeing people have success, it's like it just pulls you in more and more and more. So you can't go backwards, even
Mhm.
though you think, oh, wouldn't it be easier if I just went and lived that life? Not really, no. But it's just made me realize how far my life has come and what I've actually achieved in the last, even in the last like less than 12 months, the last 8, 9 months. It's pretty incredible, really. So
It
thank you for
really is. It really is incredible. Like, honestly, your journey is super inspirational. And I love that you say that you literally get into this rabbit hole and there's no way back.
mm,
Because that's just like, as soon as you tasted literally this freedom of living your most authentic and best life the way you want it, it's like a no-brainer. You can't even like just looking like to the other direction would be like, oh
yeah.
no, thank you.
Yeah, completely. You can't
Mhm.
go back. And
Yeah.
it's like a taste of what's to come. So that's what keeps you going
Yeah,
and keeps you
exactly.
motivated and keeps you like I'm just gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep going.
Yes, 100%. I feel always like this is what then will also help you to literally live a life without regret because you have done exactly what you wanted. And if you're on this path, on your personal, like authentic rabbit hole, there is no doubt that you will live a life without regret.
100%. One of my biggest fears is getting to the end of my life or, in my 60s and my 70s and being like, I wish I'd, I wish I'd started a business or I wish I'd tried
Mhm.
this or I wish I'd tried that. Like, it's just, yeah, that's like my biggest fear. And part of that comes from my mom.
Mhm.
She's at retirement age now. And again, my mum's had she's also tried lots of different ways to get out of the 9 to 5, and it never happened for her. And, she sent me this voice note over Christmas and she said to me, right, I'm going to retire next year. Like I've had enough. I can't be doing this 9 to 5 anymore. She's 65 this year, I think.
Mhm.
And she said, and honestly, this haunts me. She said to me, I've spent my entire life working for somebody else. And she said, what a waste of a life.
Oh gosh, that
And I was like,
hits.
oh, just, it hits me so hard. And it's another driving force for me to build this business because I want to help her retire. I want to help her travel because I can with Arbonne you get incentive trips, and when you build up to a certain level, so when you're in the top 1%, the company take you to Maui every single
Mhm.
year, like a company retreat. And I was like, I want to take my mom on that because you
Oh,
can take a +1. So
oh.
she's not been able to travel, she's not been able to do all these things. And like one of the big reasons for me running this business is I want to be able to do that for her. And that voice note that she sent me over Christmas, I've saved it. It's hard to listen to, but
Mhm.
when you're in those moments of like, oh, what am I doing? Da, da, da. It's like, that's why I'm doing it because I don't want to get to my mum's age and be like, I've spent my entire life building somebody else's dream.
Wow.
It's going to happen.
What a reminder to keep on going. What a
Yeah.
strong like why you're doing this.
Yeah. It's super powerful. It
It
hits me,
is.
but it's super
Yeah.
powerful.
But it hits in the right way, right? Because it's like,
Yeah.
oh fuck. Like, no, I can't let this happen again. I need to do something about it.
Yeah. I heard as well that there's somebody in every family, there's always a generation in every family that they change the course of the life. And I was like, that's me. That's why
Same.
it's yeah, that's why it's so hard because you've got all of your old generational past history, past all the stuff that's gone on, like, with my mum and
Mhm.
She was a single parent, struggled financially. Her family did. Like, you grow up with all of this stuff, and then you're the one that's like, okay, I'm going to do it different. Like, I'm not going to have a 9 to 5. I'm going to live this great, big, successful 6-figure lifestyle. I'm going to travel the world. Then you're like, oh, this is quite hard because you're
Mhm.
working against all that other stuff that you've been brought up with, the things that you've been exposed to. That's why for the generations that change it, it's the hardest for us. But like for Millie, it's going to be a lot easier for her because she will have been like, well, I've seen my mum do it. And then it becomes more natural and normal for her. Whereas I'm the one that's breaking away
Mhm.
from all the old stigmas and all the old, you know, normal things that people did. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense as to why the journey hasn't just been easy.
Mhm.
I'm the one to change it.
I love that. It's literally breaking free from those generational cycles and
Yeah.
traumas as well.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
patterns.
it's
Yeah.
not, yeah, it's not just like breaking free, it's also healing all
Mm,
of that for the future generations.
yes. Yeah.
Mm. I've never heard of the like it's every fifth generation. That's amazing. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in that one too.
Yeah. There's always one generation that's like
Hmm.
changes the course of
Yeah.
the family, like the history and the way that we do things and the way that we work. And when I heard that, I think I read it in a book. I think it was One More by Ed Milet.
Mm.
Might have been on his podcast. He does a podcast as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, really, it just hit with me, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And I just knew, I was like, that's why it's felt like a struggle,
Hmm.
because when you're changing cycles and breaking patterns and that, it's not easy work to do, but you have to be committed to see it through and make those changes.
Yeah, but that's where then you really get to like the gold pot at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah, completely.
This was amazing. Amie, thank you so, so much for
Oh, thank you.
sharing. This was
Thank
so fun and so insightful. And I was, with every second sentence, I was just like, oh my gosh, I can relate so hard.
I love that. And that's the thing, isn't it? There's so many, and this is why I feel like it's so important for us to share, because
Yeah.
whatever business you're in or whatever it is that you're doing with your life, we can all still connect and relate on so many different levels.
Yes. And that's why I'm also really doing this podcast, because I love hearing these stories. I love hearing where people came from. I love hearing what they're passionate about and what they want to stand for and what they want to like make real in this world, because someone will listen. And if it's just one person, and they will be like,
Yeah,
I can do that too.
exactly. Exactly. If it's just one person, you've made a difference, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. Thank you so, 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 so much. I literally love what you do. I love how you show up. So please do keep on doing your thing. I'm literally rooting for you every day in your stories.
Oh,
And I love your pole dancing videos. I just have to say, like, it's just bad. I love them so much. Every time I see one, I'm like, this is so cool.
oh, you should go to a class. I recommend everybody trying a
Yeah.
whole
I
class.
do want to try it, but I'm scared because I'm very clumsy that I will just fall down.
You'll be fine. And beginner stuff is mainly like feet on the floor anyway, so
Okay, good.
you'd be fine. And as you're super strong, you'd be absolutely fine because you go to the gym and stuff. So yeah,
Okay.
you'd be fine. I highly recommend everyone doing it. It is like the way that has changed my confidence.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's nothing else quite like it, really.
Yeah, I need to try it. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Thank you so much again. I will put all your contact details into the description box below. So for all the listeners or watchers, do check Amie out, show her some love. And yeah, is there any like last words from your side that you want to share?
No, honestly, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed what we've shared. I love the fact that it's kind of just gone the way that it's gone. As we said at the beginning, I'm a big believer that what needs to get shared will get shared. And if it
Exactly.
helps, inspires, or motivates somebody else, then we've done our job. And that's all that matters, really. So thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's been fun.
Oh, no, it was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. And to everyone listening, I see you next Monday with a new episode. Thank you. And bye.
Bye.
I love
Really,
that you're a blazer as well. Like,
mm, I love a blazer. I've literally got jogging bottoms on under it, like at the bottom. I really like wearing like a blazer with like like gym wear or more casual wear.
Yeah.
My daughter hates it.